very rarely do I lead the show or have any conversation on this show based on the earnings call of the Fox News Corporation. The real-life succession corporation out there. This is kind of like, Kendall Roy making an announcement today that involves the sports world, but that's what happened today. Lachlan Murdoch on the Fox Corporation earnings call dropped a major piece of information that sends ripple effects through the sports world. That they have hired a new analyst for their lead football broadcast. As we all know, the Buck Aikman team that had been together for so long that they were together at the second Super Bowl that NFL Network ever covered. It was the first one that Joe had ever called for Fox with Troy Aikman and Collinsworth in a three-man booth back in the day when the Patriots and Tom Brady beat the Eagles in Jacksonville, Florida. Still the last team to go back-to-back in the NFL. That's how long Buck and Aikman were together. Now they're together at the worldwide leader in sports, getting ready to call Monday Night Football. So who could replace them? It looked like it was going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. You talk about stepping into a catbird seat. Greg Olson retires. He has a year of calling games at Fox. He's terrific at it. Looked like he was going to be calling games with Burkhardt for a long time. Well, that's not the case because they have hired a new analyst when he's done playing football to go into the booth and be the lead football analyst for the NFL on Fox. And his name happens to be, well, there it is. I wrote it down. Tom Brady. That's the guy. Tom Brady. And you could knock me over with a feather because I did not think Brady would ever do this, want to do it, endeavor it, and then make the announcement before he's even retired to say he wants to do games or he will do games. I thought that Brady, once he would hang them up, would just want to run a team, not talk about teams, that he would want to be in ownership, that he would take the Jeter route, right? And we saw Peyton Manning, who's been also a very sought-after voice for analysis in a booth for NFL games. You see what he's done. He basically said, I'll call games, but I'll do it with my brother, with my own production company, basically, riding sidecar with an actual broadcast. I won't pay for the rights, but you'll pay me for the right to have me talk about the NFL games that you have on your air. That was a very fascinating way to call games, but you also own your property, the intellectual property. You own the production company. You own the show, for which Eli has been nominated, along with his YouTube page, as one of the more, I guess, in that new Emmy category for emerging voices and talent. And Peyton got nominated as well. That would be the way I thought Brady might go. But obviously, Peyton has staked his claim there. Or Brady would just get into business. He's going in the booth for Fox. And I did not see that coming. I'm shocked about it.
Yeah.
Now, I think the reason why he's doing it is twofold. One is he wants to stay involved in the game. Wants to stay involved in the game, wants to still be at stadiums. As you know, Suze, there are production meetings before games that the broadcasters take part in, where they meet with the coaches and the quarterbacks. I can only hope that when Brady does retire, the first game on Fox is at New England. where he's in the booth there in New England, and he has a production meeting with Belichick and Mac Jones. They should televise that one.
Do you think Belichick will keep him waiting? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Also, again, he's traveling now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every week.
For about 20 some odd weeks or so.
How does Giselle feel about that?
Well, I guess he still wants to be involved in the game. And she'll be cool with it.
And isn't this better than actually running a team? He can at least take time off from this.
Right? Then the other reason why he might be so inclined to do it, I cannot imagine the price tag for that. I cannot imagine how much bag they are putting on the table. I would have proffered to say all of the years that Brady took the hometown discount in New England, all of the money he left on the table has been made up by the Murdoch family. I know the details aren't coming out yet. It's just the first blush day for it. I would bet Brady's production company that, he has created, that Time versus Tom and Tom versus Time, or whatever that name of that initial broadcast, and then his Man in the Arena and all the other documentaries that he did for the Audience Network, which we pour one out for every single day here on the Rich Eisen Show, that gave birth to this program. The 80 for Brady movie that's apparently he's doing and shooting right now with Lily Tomlin and Rita Moreno and the rest of them, and put it all together. I bet you they made a production deal for that with him. I mean, the number I'm thinking might be a multiple of 12. That's the number I'm thinking, and I'm thinking 36. That's what I'm thinking, a year. Because why else would Tom do something like this? This is a grunt, as you point out, Susie's going to be on the road. You get on the road. There may be an exception where with Zoom, you can Zoom on a Friday, but he might want to do practice. Obviously, he has a certain regimen. Another thing, too, I would, counsel Tom, now that he's making this decision, now that he's entering my lane for maybe the first time ever. I will say this, Tom, there's no avocado in any of the craft services that I've ever seen at a game, ever. There's not. There's no craft services, and you got to be careful, man. Those commercial breaks, you're hungry, you run out. Is he going to bring his own food? Probably he's going to do that. I would definitely think that that's coming. Don't you think Tom's going to have some sort of a TB12 system? Like Burkhardt is going to have to get on the TB12 system. I mean, the producer's going to have to get on the TB12 system. Alex Guerrero might be on the sideline, making sure that the sideline report is all properly stretched out. Right? That's what I'm thinking. Make sure that everybody's not cramping up on the sideline. It's coming for Fox. That's the way I'm thinking. And like I said, I can't believe Tom Brady is entering the media world. He's excited, but a lot of unfinished business on the field with the Buccaneers, because again, it's when he's going to retire, whenever that is going to be. To me, this sounds like he's going to stay this year, and then next year is the wild card. Next year's the wild card because Fox has the Super Bowl this year. I mean, could you imagine what we're talking about in terms of promotion if Fox has the Super Bowl this year and Brady is in it and he retires and he basically says to, I would imagine, Aaron Andrews on the sideline, hey, I'm now going to be part of this broadcast team. And then the confetti comes down and he makes that announcement. And that's another reason why I'm sure Fox spent a ton of money on it, is because Fox now will own, if you will, his Hall of Fame weekend. Because I imagine this is going to be a long-term deal. And when he goes into the Hall of Fame, Fox is going to have Tom Brady. And can you imagine, again, Tom Brady in a booth, with all due respect to everybody that's called it, the Super Bowl? Who better to say, when I played in this game, when I was in this moment, when I was a kid, when I was in it and I lost, when I was in it and I lost the same opponent again, when I was in it and I won it a second time, when I was in it and won it back-to-back times. You know how tough that is, folks? When I was in it and I won it 3 out of the first 4 times. Do you know how tough that is, folks? And then I didn't win it for a long time, but then it came back. Do you know how tough it is to be a 40-year-old in a game like this? Do you know how tough it is for I mean, there isn't a single scenario under which Tom Brady will not have a unique GOAT insight. That's why he's going to make the bag that he probably got on the table from Fox Corp. And I don't know, he might look around and just, look at Hannity and Tucker and say, try and make how much I make. Honestly, he's probably making the most money of anybody in that organization. I would guess, because he has so many other options, and there's nobody that can walk in that booth in that game, in the championship game. You know what? I played in this game for 12 straight years. Not the NFC championship game, obviously the AFC championship game. But who has the perspective he's going to bring to the table? Absolutely nobody. That's why I'm stunned he's doing it. And I mean, is it a package deal with Jim Gray? I don't know if Jim's coming. I have no idea what's coming from Tom. But congratulations to Fox to land the biggest whale in this space before he's retired. And once he's retired, to have the most unique voice you can ever have in the booth for a big game, period. Any sport, at any time. Nobody with the resume of Tom Brady has stepped into a booth like he's going to and provide that perspective. And then, of course, congratulations to Eric Shanks of Fox for landing not one, but both Michigan GOATs, Charles Woodson and Tom Brady. I'm sure there's be nice seats there at the big house whenever you damn well please. He's just collecting them all. I mean, Desmond's probably looking around with his agent saying, do they need the one right there? That's the only one that's missing. So I'm stunned. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.